Hi, folks. We're Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. Please listen to this presentation as you would a radio broadcast. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the decline of Germany. Now, I'm going to contrast a few things. I was sort of doing business with Germans, going to Germany and meeting German business people from my early 20s. I've got quite a long span of modern history to reflect on here, and I'm aghast at watching the very obvious, very visual decline of Germany today. So let's have a look at that, and I'll talk a little bit about this. Now, first, I met a German trade delegation. Again, I think 23. So I met a German trade delegation and was hugely impressed with these guys. They had they were very businesslike. Their English was well, most of them, it was pretty good. The Australian accent threw them a little bit, but they were technically they were high quality people. What can I tell you? They were bright. They knew what they were talking about, and it didn't matter which, whether it was a government trade official or say a technical salesman. German technical salespeople, by the way, I was always impressed by them. The Germans in particular were able to produce a whole culture of high quality technical salespeople to sell their advanced machine tools and all sorts of stuff like that. And they had a real history of it. Probably the only competitors to that standard of technical salespeople were the Americans, or used to be again years ago. All of that, there wasn't a single person in that trade delegation, whether it was from private companies or government, there wasn't a single person there who was not impressive. Every one of them was impressive. They were talented, they were bright, they were high IQ. They were all kick-ass, what can I say? And now bear in mind, at my age, I would have been more easily overawed and impressed then than I probably would be today. Even so, they were very impressive by any measure, in my view. So I went to Germany not long afterwards, and so I met a lot more people, and the people on the street, as it were, and the people on the street are obviously less impressive, but nonetheless, I was meeting, cadet trainee engineers who were involved in inventing this or developing that, and they were impressive as well. And I struggled again, wherever I went, there were impressive people, and many of them, and this caused me to, or at the time, I remember reflecting, thinking, wow, these guys are. They just, this economy, the ability for the Germans are not only technically, but with innovation and invention and organization and structure, focus, resources, allocation of resource in every respect. And bear in mind, I had Australia as the baseline, and Australia was hardly a third world country. The Germans were impressive, and again at advanced industrial technologies. Now, to be sure, Germany, even sort of up to and leading to federation, but particularly after that in the 1870s, Germany has acquired a reputation for advanced technology in metallurgy and optics, chemicals, electronics, electromechanical, and so on. So the Germans had developed technologies in areas, whether it be fuel injection and all sorts of things like that. They developed a whole range of technologies and were at the apex of most of those. Certainly by the early 1900s, Germany had already established itself as an advanced technology powerhouse, and continued to be so. Even after World War II, where Germany had been bombed into ruins, the speed with which the economy recovered, relying heavily on advanced technology like machine tools, Mercedes cars and whatever, they went from being bombed into nothing to, by 1960, the German economy had surpassed the British economy. The so-called winner of World War II was already playing second fiddle to Germany in terms of advanced technology or overall manufacturing and production. So this just shows you how much talent and skill there was in terms of the ingenuity of its people. And education, of course, played a role in that, as did other factors, homogeneity of the population and so on. So now that's how impressive Germany was then, and by the way, continued to be. I remember being. I'm thinking now, I had to spend several weeks there in the mid '90s, I think it was. I remember again just how many impressive people I met, people that just wow, that guy's really bright, and also these industrial estates. This particular one I'm thinking of was around Mannheim. And there's these light industrial estates with these smaller sort of office buildings, and they were developing, inventing all sorts of technologies for. Some of it seemed a little bit far-fetched to me, but nonetheless, they were inventive, innovative. They were electrical engineers and other engineers, mechanical engineers and so on, chemical engineers that were inventing the future and were doing a really impressive job about it, I thought. And I, again, was hugely impressed. Now let's move to today. So just recently I met a trade delegation that was the same as, in composition at least, the same as the trade delegation I'd met when I was 23 years old. And every one of these fucking people today, the German trade delegate, everyone, not one of them deserved to be there in any form of merit. It was affirmative action on steroids. It was, gay. It was lesbian. It was, had to be 50% women. It had to be this and that. It had to be 50% non-white. And I mean, fuck. So the reverse, the difference could not have been more stark. The delegation that I met recently, not one was impressive. Some of them maybe were making a half-hearted effort, but they didn't know what they were doing. They were the most unimpressive bunch of people you could possibly meet. And that was, the contrast between through the 80s and 90s and all that sort of thing, the contrast and into the 2000s, the contrast was just mind-blowing. So now I then met this was a more government. I don't think it was any private sector people, and there might have been, but I think it was more government. Now I'd also met a government delegations as well, trade delegations, and these were people who were very focused on exporting German technology and finding new markets, new customers, and matching up buyers with sellers, and they were really good at what they did, and they were good. So, and they understood the technologies. They were to be taught, at least to an extent. Now, contrasted again to recently, the people that in the trade delegation, again, it was all affirmative action stuff. Even one woman who was in there, she even commented, just in a passing comment, that she was lucky to get this cozy job in the trade delegation. Because she was a straight white woman, and the only reason she got the job was because she married some black guy, and she was married to a black guy, and that gave her the affirmative action points to get her across the line. That sort of stuff's going on, but it's the quality of the people. Not one of them knew what the fuck they were doing. They were lazy. They didn't care. They didn't give a shit. They weren't qualified. They were just there for affirmative action reasons, and it was insane. And why would Germany, any country, do this to themselves? Why can't you put where have all these qualified people gone? Do they no longer exist? Did they take them out back and shoot them or something? Where have they gone? They're still there. They're just not being put in these jobs. These jobs are being allocated on the basis of DEI and so on, and much to the detriment of German industry. And so the last time I went to Germany, then the most recent time, it was like I'd gone into a different country. All these bright engineers, all these innovative companies, all these inventions, all these really bright people, they just didn't seem to exist anymore. They weren't there. These these offices that were once where engineers, electrical engineers that were inventing the future of whatever, they were working there. Now they've been converted into apartments, which illegal immigrants from the third world being put into, or they're offices for NGOs, or they're some sort of government quango bullshit. So there's been a very substantial transformation. And other problems Germany has been increasing the price of energy so that manufacturing becomes less competitive. All these sorts of things are coalescing and combining. But the reality is that the ingenuity of the German people, which was impressive by any measure, the ingenuity of the German people is being sacrificed on the altar of political correctness, and jobs that otherwise would have genius electrical engineer inventors are being given to black lesbians on the basis of social equality and other ideological insanity and nonsense. The Nazis didn't make any of those mistakes, and they're upheld as being the most evil and baddest of the bad. But even they didn't fuck it up like this, or come anywhere near to. So this is something that to observe the stark difference between how it was then and where have all these bright people gone? Are they working now? Have they been reduced to working at takeout food shops or something? Where has all this ingenuity gone? Because it's just suddenly vanished, and again, it's turning Germany into all the beginning signs which are already here in Australia and the West. All those beginning signs of a failed state are in place. And when I saw the quality of those trade delegations. One of them had a trade show. One of them had a stand at a trade show, which I was at a couple of days after having had meetings with them. And the lady who's supposed to be in charge of the thing, she's some brown lady with blue hair, and she's there, and so I was asking her about something and needed to be followed up, and she was doing some social. I could see over because she had a laptop, a computer. I could see she was doing some social media stuff. She wasn't doing important work. So I asked her about the following up, and she just looked up. And now I speak, probably not good German, barely passable German. So her English was very ordinary. It's good enough, but I needed some German to help her along. And so she said, look, somebody you might want to talk to might be coming later. I don't know when. Look, I don't have time to look. And, if you want to hang around and meet them, then that's up to you. And she just kept on doing her social media stuff. That's how much she didn't give a shit. Yet she's one of the leaders of the trade delegation group. That's how fucking hopeless they are. You've been with Tassless today, your pushback channel, and thank you for listening.